hospital.
193 emergency. What's your situation?
Please help me. My wife is having a baby. I need an ambulance now.
Sorry, sir. We don't have any ambulance in your area. You need to get yourself to the nearest hospital on your own. We are very sorry, sir.
Okay, I take her on my bike.
Good evening and welcome to Maternal Health Channel television series. My name is Anita Erskine and I'm your host. Children are our most valuable asset. In Ghana, however, about 80 newborn babies die every day before reaching the first month of their lives. Tonight, our studio discussion focuses on exclusive breastfeeding, which has been highlighted as one of the most effective answers to newborn survival, and yet, in the public's mind informed by so many misconceptions. Before the discussion, however, take a look.
La General Hospital. Madam Vivian is in charge of the delivery ward today. Like most days, it is a busy time with mothers at various stages of delivery. Soon it is Giftiedu's turn, and she delivers Amma, a bouncing baby girl. Baby Amma is put on the chest of her mother, and within 30 minutes, she is breastfeeding.
The breast milk that comes in the first few days of life, the colostrum, is rich in antibodies, and antibodies are proteins that help us fight infections.
We normally call it the first immunization for the child. So the child gets this and the child is protected from a lot of infections.
There's something also in breast milk called lactoferrin. It is a whey binding protein that binds to iron binding protein in breast milk. And it binds to iron and prevents one common organism called E. coli, which causes a lot of gastrointestinal infections like diarrhea in newborns. So if you breastfeed your baby, this lactoferrin will bind to the iron and keep it away from E. coli. And so your child will have less or fewer episodes of diarrhea. So generally children who are breastfed tend to have a stronger immunity to fight against common bacterial diseases, common illnesses that will cause coughs, colds, diarrhea, infections of the ears. We encourage our mothers to exclusively breastfeed because one, it is very cheap. Two, it is not contaminated by any bacteria. It's at the right temperature, so you don't need ingredients to prepare it. It helps with bonding between the mother and the baby. Even right in the delivery room or the labor ward, initiating breastfeeding helps with expulsion of the placenta and contraction of the uterus that will aid in expelling any clots, help prevent postpartum hemorrhage and all that. There's a hormone that helps stimulate contraction of the muscles in the breast to expel the breast milk into the baby. There are actually two hormones. One, which is prolactin, that helps in the production of the breast milk. But there's one called oxytocin that helps with the myoendothelial cells in the breast itself to bring the milk out. So oxytocin causes contraction of the smooth muscles in the breast, and at the same time also causes contraction of the uterus. So helps as you are putting the baby to breast, you're telling your brain to produce oxytocin. It is working on the breast muscles and also working on your uterine muscles. So then it will help to deliver the placenta, it will help to bring out any clots, any products of conception, and also help the uterus to contract and prevent bleeding. So right there in the delivery room, you can have some this is very important, a very important benefit of initiating breastfeeding through the home oxytocin.
It also helps the child to pass the black stool that the medical people call meconium. The child is able to pass this quickly. If the child doesn't pass this quickly, then the child is going to have jaundice. So it is very important. The teeth is formed beautifully because of the suckling action of the child.
Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Another baby is born. Ajara, her mother, Sumaya. Sooner than she thought, Ajara is breastfeeding. Ajara is giving her first injections. The nurses also ensure Sumaya is taken through all the other essential health check procedures. Dr. Opong is happy with Sumaya's progress and informs her she will be discharged tomorrow. The following day, Sumaya goes home. It has really gone well at the hospital. Sumaya arrives home to an emotional welcome. Everyone is truly happy to see Sumaya back with her baby. A week later, Dr. Van Otu pays Sumaya a visit.
My friend Dr. Van Otu.
She is Greater Accra Regional Director of Ghana Health Service. Normally, a community health nurse will make such visits.
I find a good morning. I find 10 years.
In this case, however, Dr. Van Otu agreed to our request to visit Sumaya in order to further highlight some of the issues her office is addressing in newborn care.
Say they be a when you call hospital na you catch her. Say Ghana Health Service any ya share. Say be momba hospital na adenya. So mu wia na ye nwie. E say to so e ko fie. E ko hwe say maame no ho te say akoda no so ho te say.
Dr. Van Otu stresses the importance of exclusive breastfeeding.
They say they hear pa ni some woman no phone. So no phone they so no pa number kwa or bread we from no now we say na one man back no so no. Sometimes when they get home, especially if the baby cries a bit, then the mother will be told that the breast milk is not enough, therefore add some other feeds. Some people put bread into water, squeeze it and give the water to the baby. Some even give mashed kinky to very young babies like this, or they give them porridge or anything else that they can find.
Every mother wants the best for the child. So if the mother knows that breast milk is the best for my child, the mother will do it. There is nothing that can be compared to breast milk. It is the best, the natural way. That is what the child needs. The position is very important, as well as the attachment, so that you don't have any problems in breastfeeding. If you don't do them right, you get sore nipple, you get engorgement, and baby will refuse to feed. You will not have enough milk. And if you don't have enough milk, then you resort to the infant formula, which is not necessary. The best way to position a baby at the breast is to have the baby facing the mother. And when we say the baby should face the mother, the stomach of the baby should touch the mother's stomach. Then the palm of the mother's hand should support the baby's buttocks. And the head of the baby should be in the crook of the mother's arm. Then you realize that the ear, the shoulder, and the hip are in a horizontal line. This facilitates attachment. And as you do that, the baby roots. And immediately the baby opens the mouth wide, you bring the baby to the breast. Our mothers will normally put the breast in the baby's mouth. The very moment you put the breast in the baby's mouth, two things happen. Baby takes the nipple only, which will lead to sore nipples. And then the mother's back is not straightened. If the mother's back is not straightened, he gets backache. And so we always want their back to be straightened. So we bring baby to the breast. We never give the breast to the baby. When the mouth of the baby is opened and you bring the baby to the breast, there are 4 cardinal signs you are supposed to see. The lower lip of the baby is supposed to curl out. The cheek will be rounded. You will see more of the black part above the breast than below. And you will realize that the baby is suckling beautifully. The baby can go on the breast for 6 months without any problem, and it is good for the baby. After the 6 months, baby needs food to be added. And normally, we teach mothers to prepare something in their home. What they eat in the home is what they should prepare for the baby. Start with porridge. In Ghana, we have so many things we can use for porridge. We can use sorghum, millet, rice, corn. So if you prepare this and the child is not taking it, there are varieties.
She has the support of her mother and her aunties, and that is very key, because sometimes when they come home, the voices are too many. So although the nurses and the doctors would have informed her as to what she should be doing, the voices in the home will tell her something different. But this time round, they are saying the same thing.
To further highlight the efforts being made to promote exclusive breastfeeding, we went to Jackson Park in Koforidua, where an event was held to celebrate World Breastfeeding Week 2016.
The breastfeeding, we are told, is a foundation for childhood development.
Breastfeeding, no. Me pamocha ye pan ma nkwala no. Me ba no me ye ma no no. Onyare no ho ye din. Me ko hospital na ewe na me de na ekọ. Me ami hu sa man na adwuma bi o ye smart woni am bi hu. Nti ye pan ma about time for ni so mo nye.
Benefit of breastfeeding for me and my child, one is it helps the baby keep very healthy.
The message about the critical importance of exclusive breastfeeding was clear.
Welcome back. The conversation around exclusive breastfeeding has got me thinking. I'm sure it's got you thinking as well. I'm so committed to trying this the third time around. But the conversation, of course, yielded so many views, points, and opinions that I would like for us to listen to more. And of course, we still have Mrs. Mate with us. Mrs. Mate, you're very welcome back.
Thank you.
We're seeing quite a lot of mothers now breastfeeding. Yeah. You know, I think we obviously went through a phase where, you know, mothers decided to use, you know, help, different kinds of milks.
Of the influence.
And of course, because of the, you know, the public influence. Now we're seeing the increase. What kind of advice are you giving to women across board, from the rural areas to the urban areas? What kind of words of advice are you giving them about exclusive breastfeeding?
I think all mothers should endeavor to exclusively breastfeed their babies. No, normally we all think about when you have to go to work, and my maternity leave is only 3 months, and so when I'm going to work, how will my baby feed? And so let me start giving porridge or some other things before even the 3 months, so the baby will be used to it. That's what we think. And so we don't want to do the exclusive breastfeeding. By exclusive breastfeeding, I can tell you, I have done it twice. I have 4 children.
How old
but
are
I
they
couldn't. Oh, even the last one is 20. But when we started, like in '86, we were not having this issue about exclusive breastfeeding. Even as health workers, we didn't know there was something like that. So we gave both the milk and gave the breast. But in '93, when I had my 3rd one, it was time for exclusive breastfeeding, so I did it. For the my third child and the 4th one, the 2 of them I exclusively breastfed.
Mrs. Mata, you've spoken a lot about the positives of exclusive breastfeeding. In your experience, you know, professional experience, where have you seen a mother struggle when it comes to exclusive breastfeeding, where even you, perhaps in your professional opinion, has or would encourage her to get some help?
I have not met a mother like that before, but I have heard stories of people who give such instances that the mother was not having enough breast milk. She was doing all she could, but the baby does not seem to have enough breast milk.
It happens once in a while?
Once in a while. And most of the time, I think it's psychological also. You know, some people look at their breast and say, this tiny breast, how can you feed this baby for 6 months? But we also keep on saying that the size of the breast does not matter in breastfeeding.
Yeah.
The size of the breast doesn't matter at all. It may be small breast, but it will still give you the milk that the baby needs.
Once or twice in my research, I've seen somewhere a mother probably having gone through some form of cancer. In this case, perhaps a breast cancer, one, or the other, or both, whatever it is. Have you seen any of these in your field, in your experience, where a breast cancer survivor perhaps has had a baby and is having issues exclusively breastfeeding her child?
I have not seen any, but then I think we have heard of cases like that once in a while. You hear cases. Somebody like that cannot be able to do it. Okay. These are exceptions, they are very rare. And if it's something like that, then you have to think of the other options.
Of course.
Breastfeeding is the first option, of course.
Of course.
The first option you have, if you are normal, you have the 2 breasts there. Why don't you give it to your baby? It may be time consuming, but then what you get out of it is how do you opportunity cost?
Opportunity cost.
Yeah. What you get from it, you will not get it anywhere else. Yeah. So you need to at least give that to your baby.
Mrs. Martin, let's bring it to this new generation of women, for whom how they look, especially after childbirth, is such a big thing. We all want to have babies, but we all don't want to look like we've had babies. And I've heard people say, oh, breastfeeding just makes your breasts sag and you'll never get your perky breast back again. What do you have to say to that?
Well, I disagree. It's not the breastfeeding that makes the breast sag.
We are in a generation in which wives are working and husbands are working. After 3 months, we have to go back to work, and we are advised to express breast milk, etc. What else can we do to make sure that after work or when we get home or whatever, we still have enough milk? Is it possible? Is it possible for us to put them in the fridge at work, etc.? What would you advise? How do we deal with this?
Okay, yes, I mentioned earlier that employers should make some space available, like a breastfeeding room, where mothers can go and sit and breastfeed their baby. That's if their baby is around. Or they can sit there and express their milk, keep it in a container, covered, and then put it in the fridge. Or even if there is no fridge there, breast milk can stay for 8 hours under room temperature.
Okay.
So
up to 8 hours?
Up to 8 hours. So then they can keep it in their office or in the cupboard there. When they are coming home, they bring it home and then they will leave it when they are going for their babies to be fed on.
A good friend of mine expressed a lot of breast milk, and she would often say, you know what, Anita, I have so much breast milk.
Yeah.
She used to put it in the freezer.
Yeah,
is that advisable?
Yes, the freezer can keep it. That is if you have constant power. You see, the freezer normally we know freezers are able to keep our things better than the fridge. Especially a freezer which is not being opened on and off like that. Okay. If you keep it there, it can stay for 3 months.
Breast milk can stay in the freezer
for 3 months. And normally, if you are doing it, then you have to have smaller containers, label them. It's a first in, first out principle. You label them, the dates that you put them in. So when you want to use it, you take out those you put in first. You put it down to thaw.
Wow.
When it thaws on its own, you don't have to put it on fire and say you are going to warm the milk. No. Yes, because then you kill the live cells in the breast milk.
Okay. But the other issue, I've thawed the breast milk and I want to make it a bit heavier by putting just a tiny bit of cereal in it. Does that defeat the purpose again?
It does. If it's before 6 months. After 6 months, you can. But if before 6 months, it's breastfeeding exclusively. You don't need to put anything. No additions. But I've known mothers who, after 6 months, or some of them, after 6 months, they mix breast milk with cocoa instead of adding the artificial milk even to the cocoa.
I see.
They add breast milk rather to it, and it's good.
Mrs. Martin, thank you so much for teaching me and all the mothers and all the mothers to be out there the positive, the benefits of exclusive breastfeeding. I have 2. I may have another one, I'm not sure, but I can promise you.
Try.
It'll be exclusive breastfeeding if I do try the 3rd time. All right. See you next time.
Thank you.